about it in the after show if she remembers.
Yeah. Well,
There's gonna
I'm
be
not
an
going to
after-
remember.
There's
Because
gonna
I'm
be an
high.
after- the hell? There's gonna be an after show. Why was I invited?
Yeah, I wasn't invited to an after show either.
You're always
me-
in the one. You're always the one that's in such a hurry to go take a piss afterwards.
Because I'm
God.
old. Thank you for telling everyone now that we're live. But hello. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIP-COT No Government License, which allows for the use and reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That is BIPCOT.org. We're also covered by Brandenburg v. Ohio 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action and is likely to incite or produce such action. Therefore, everything said here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable discussion is entirely hypothetical. This is episode 182, and yes, Brandon, holy shit, it's Dyreka.
She's back.
Hey, you guys, look, I'm on my phone and I don't have my fucking reading glasses on, so you guys are going to have to read the comments out loud to me or I won't be able to fucking read them.
Just hammers home the conversation we were having beforehand about all of us being fucking old.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the windy to his lost boys, our moral compass.
Yeah, right.
Dyreka has returned to the show after.
I really hope you guys aren't relying on me for that.
Well, if she's our compass is going.
Yeah, it's a little vague.
We have Jack Sparrow's compass that doesn't point north ever.
Right.
The needle on the compass is just a middle
For
finger.
guidelines.
Right. It's just a middle finger. Exactly. Yeah.
But what did we say before? It was 7 months.
7
I think
months.
was what it
yeah,
was.
is
Like
what
one
we
episode
found out.
105.
Yeah,
This is
it was
episode
quite a bit.
182.
I had to get a handle on my health. I dropped like every fucking thing. Because I wasn't doing well physically. I just wasn't.
Yeah.
You got to take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're not doing well physically, it affects you mentally and all that good stuff. And it's a
And
spiral.
I don't need anything else affecting me mentally. I'm already good on that front. So
Brandon here just says finally he gets the thank you for his book for the book.
oh, cool. Somebody that loves my book.
No. We still push it every episode too.
Awesome.
My
you, guys.
16-year-old got through it and said, "Dad, why'd you make me do this?"
Aww.
Well,
To be fair, she did
Aw.
learn a thing or two. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Forced
that was her
to learn.
reaction.
What was she tired of her little brother like reasoning circles around her? Is that why she finally broke
More or
down?
less, because
Yeah.
Tommy runs circles around her.
I remember you telling me. Yeah. Yeah.
He was the first one to finish the book,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah, he runs circles around her, and he still runs circles around her. Some of that.
Well,
might be
you got to
bomb
get them
resin.
while they're young. You got to get them while they're young. That's why I wrote the damn book, because they don't
Well, no,
teach this shit until college, usually.
part of it is that, her brain's a little clogged with bong resin.
Right. Well, I mean, so is
So-
mine, and I wrote the fucking book.
but she's a little slower than you are on that.
I mean, I've been smoking weed for a lot longer than she has, though. I'm just saying.
Well, but that also means that you have built up a long-term tolerance to it. Whereas
True.
she I'm pretty sure she smoked herself sober once or twice with her friends.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've done that.
Well, it's
I
been
don't
a
even
long
smoke
time.
it anymore.
It's been a long time since you were 16 years old too.
Yes. Yeah. Remember 25 years, Jason. Yeah, that's how long it's been since you were 16 too.
21 years.
Uh-huh.
Not that far off.
19. I win.
Fucking.
That's how long I smoked cigarettes for.
Josh, you want to weigh in?
youngsters.
22 years.
Oh, good. You're older than me. I don't feel so bad now.
I'm still the young end of the group.
Andrew's the baby.
Yay!
Until Tommy
Ian.
decides he wants to join.
Me and Jason are the grown-ups here. You're all fucked. because we're the grown-ups.
Just because you're the grown-ups does not make you the voice of reason.
Mama
No,
D
I
and
know.
Mama D and Papa J, you guys are screwed.
Screwed. Screwed.
Abandon hope, all ye who enter here.
Yeah, it's like Lord of the Flies up in this bitch.
Lord of the Flies. So, let's see.
Yeah, so I'm sorry to anybody who like wondered what the fuck happened to me. Like anybody gave a shit, but
We had a few people out with it.
Yeah, we had a few people that would ask.
Yeah, we got questions.
well, I just I was in rough shape. I had to take care of me for a little while.
We started making things up. Like we told one person that you were training tigers,
Mm-hmm.
and there's another person that's we told him you went homeless.
Oh, cool.
Spiritual journey into the Himalayas.
Nice.
Yep.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
What's that?
We warned them it might be 7 years before you come back.
Me, you know.
Yeah,
What, you guys were talking at the exact same time. I didn't hear what either one of you said.
that's right. Neither of them said anything important.
Okay.
No.
I made a 7 years in Tibet reference, and Josh said something
I made a
about
training joke.
he made a training joke.
Well, I made a spiritual journey into myself, and y'all can take that as sexually as you want to, because there's a lot of that too. But
Shocked face.
yeah, totally shocked. Yeah.
Anyone who's listened to episode 69 is completely unsurprised.
Yeah.
So Jack asks, is it a permanent return or a guest appearance?
Oh, this is a permanent return. Yeah. Yeah. I've got a handle on my shit again. And I've got my voice back. I quit smoking. I'm losing weight. I just feel better. I've got Kevin's doing the same thing with me. So like we're doing it together, right?
Sell any of the
Except,
kids?
not yet. I just don't have any fucking buyers, man. Nobody wants them.
Well, I saw earlier that Facebook Marketplace was having an inflation issue, and like things on Facebook Marketplace were more expensive than you can buy them in the store.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's what it is. Nobody wants to buy your kids anymore because they can just import them from Ukraine.
No shit.
I wish they'd hurry up and import some 7.62 by 39 from fucking Ukraine. God damn it.
Yeah, holy crap.
That'd be nice.
Bro, that's the new one that they're talking about, right? Because they're talking about gun control, right? And then like Democrat out of Connecticut, Chris something or other, literally came out and said, yeah, we're not going to even submit an assault weapons ban. Right, but they're going after other things. So there's going to be like a national red flag law, and there's going to be additional taxes. But one of the other things that they want to go after is ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. If you don't have
they always?
ammunition,
Yeah.
well,
We got an
what
article.
happened out there in Kamifornistan.
We got an article worth laughing about that later. But now that we bring it up, I want to bring up this article that I did not tell you guys about.
Oh, we're starting off with fire.
Start with the surprise.
I have two fires.
Oh,
one of them
okay.
is this one. One of them is the other one that we'll talk about later. But this one is I just caught right before we jumped on, and it's from Representative Don Baer. He's a House Democrat, and he wants to introduce a bill that would hit AR-15s with a 1,000% tax.
Yeah, because that's definitely not infringing at all. It's totally in the spirit.
Oh, yeah.
It shall not be infringed.
Yes.
Right.
What I don't understand is why the AR-15 is so fucking vilified. Like if they wanted to go after a scary gun, there are way fucking scarier guns than an AR-15.
The reason being is because it looks cosmetically similar to the one that the military uses.
Yeah. It says,
scary
yeah,
black
well,
rifle.
I mean, like I know that, but they're stupid.
They are. They absolutely are, and that's why they've.
That's why they're
I know.
politicians and not working in the private sector.
I
Exactly.
know.
But it's
I
the
know
most
this.
popular rifle in the country, just like why they're used in those mass shootings. Same reason.
Yeah.
So they're going to
okay,
target.
And
Well, they're
to go along
only used
with that,
because they're fucking ubiquitous. I mean,
right?
Yeah, they're
and-
everywhere.
Exactly.
and when you look at the DC versus Heller decision, they said anything that's in common use, to ban it would be an infringement.
Yeah,
So
there's
to
literally no gun in more common use in the United States.
The
No,
1020,
there-
the 1022. The
two
1022 is higher common use.
The 1022 and the common Glock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Micah just got a Glock for his 20th birthday. We got him a Glock 45.
Nice. So Representative Don
Model
Beyer,
45
Virginia.
or 45 ACP?
Model 45.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a daily carry for a 20-year-old kid, you know, like.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a solid carry gun.
Mhm.
So Representative Don Beyer of Virginia, a member of the Tax, Writing, House, Ways and Means panel, wants to oppose a 1,000% excess tax on assault weapons. Quote, what it's intended to do is to provide another creative pathway to actually make some sensible gun control happen. We think that a 1,000% fee on assault weapons is just the kind of restrictive measure that creates enough fiscal impact to qualify for reconciliation.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to need you to define reasonable or whatever that fucking word is that he used.
Well, because it's only reasonable to go after the poors. See, the rich people.
That's where that's
right.
That's the
that's the whole point of the NFA too, was to make it so, especially back in '84, $200 was so astronomically expensive at that point. With inflation, it's cheap as hell. But
it says new AR-15 style guns range from 500 to over 2,000 depending on location. NBC News report. Okay, that's a stupid statement. It's wrong. That means a 1,000% tax on the weapon could add 5,000 to 20,000 to the final sales price, and it would probably keep it out of the hands of many younger Americans. It would also keep it out of the hands of most minorities also.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got to remember, gun control is rooted in racism.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna have, what we're gonna end up with is an armed upper class of landowners that is able to fucking subjugate everybody else to their will. It seems like
the same thing that you see in the UK, right? In England.
Seems like, yeah.
Oh god, and he seems like exactly the kind of person that would have a gun in England. He looks like one of those guys, fucking Ruperts. Yep. And that's the kind of person.
We're just looking at feudalism, like straight up feudalism here.
That's what you see in the UK. So like in England and a lot of Europe and stuff, all of their gun laws really are rooted in classism, blatant classism, where they're set up so that the rich, the gentry and everything, they can get their hands on guns just fine. In fact, you can even own an AR.
It's been like that for hundreds of years. It's been like that for hundreds of years in England. Yeah. And they did it so that they could keep the other peoples on those islands that they subjugated, the Welsh, the Scottish, the Irish, so they could keep them down. So only the wealthy English landowners who were given that land by the king, it was taken from the people who had it, given to the English lords. Only those lords could have fucking guns.
Well, and it's not even just to keep the foreigners from having guns. It's the Britons themselves, because remember those laws started getting introduced when William the Conqueror comes over in 1066. And
dude, that's like English. Just what I was exactly fucking saying, was so the ruling class could have them, and the people they took the land from can't.
He shows up and he's like, oh no, all you Anglo-Saxons, I can't trust you. So not only am I going to build all of these castles and everything, I'm also going to forbid you from having proper arms, because we wouldn't want you uppity and wanting to take your country back or anything.
Yeah, I can't trust you to not hate me for being a huge fucking D-bag.
Isn't that why they built Hadrian's Wall also?
Well,
that was the Romans. They were afraid of the Celts.
Yeah. They were afraid of the Celts taking their land back?
No, they were just afraid of the fucking Celts.
Yeah.
They were afraid of
the second wall they built further north was...
Yeah, and the Picts and all the pagan tribes of northern...
It was the Picts, because they were... Scotland was originally a colony of Ireland, and so those Celts are directly related to the Irish Celts. Remember, when Caesar hopped over to Ireland, he showed up, went, nope, and then left.
The Irish are fucking insane.
Hold on, I got one more paragraph on this one. Law enforcement agencies and the U.S. military wouldn't be subject to the tax, Beyer said. The legislation The legislation will also apply only to future assault weapon sales and not to the 20 million AR-15 style rifles already estimated to be in circulation across the
only
US.
20 million.
Hold on.
Okay, no.
Other weapons used for hunting or other recreational purposes would be exempt.
Wait, but I'm okay with this now because he said only future assault weapon purchases. Okay, that's fine because there's no such thing as a fucking assault weapon.
Yes, but I would also like to point out that I took a deer with this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually use this for hunting. It's not just a home defense apparatus.
As long as it's not a 9mm, because that can blow a man's lung right out of his body.
Bear's definition
son of a bitch.
Assault weapon. Bear's definition of assault weapon closely mirrors that of Representative David Cecilian of Rhode Island is pushing. The bill would ban weapons with at least one military characteristic, like a pistol grip or a forward grip.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Yeah, that's the same shit they did in the 90s.
Or a forward grip, not a vertical forward grip.
Or any forward grip.
So, well, that would
be any fucking rifle.
You could say a bolt gun is a forward fucking grip.
Yeah, any fucking rifle.
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake. And you know, if they really want to go after 9mm like that, Dyreka, they should wait till they see what a 10 does.
Well, you know what's funny is that they talk about 9mm, they talk about 5.56, right? They talk about that a lot and how those are military rounds, blah, blah, blah. Europe has a lot of those laws where you can't buy 9mm, you can't buy 5.56, you can't buy 7.62 because
9mm is not a military fucking caliber. 9mm is like a gangbanger caliber.
It's a NATO
round.
Well,
it's originally a military caliber.
It's
parabellum for war. So it was originally developed. You know, the Germans developed it. World War I. It was their
every weapon was originally developed for war. There's no fucking.
I mean, but so what's happened in Europe is that all of these rounds that they banned, that they said, well, civilians can't buy these. Everyone's just creating new rounds that are just slightly smaller or slightly bigger or have a slightly.
Look what Atlas Arms is doing with their. Because there's a ban on steel penetrators, right? You can't have a steel penetrator round. Atlas Arms is creating penetrators that don't use steel.
Yeah, so do
right? There's always a way around it.
Works better anyway.
Carbide, tungsten, yeah.
So, but now that we're on the subject, I have to bring up the other article I kept hidden from you guys. This is an article from Rolling Stone magazine.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Here we go.
How the gun industry markets weapons to doomsday preppers and violent extremists.
They don't have to market shit to them.
Yeah, they don't have to market anything.
They don't have to fucking market shit to them.
You know how you market a weapon to a prepper? You go, hey,
that's the easiest marketing ever.
Seriously.
Here's a gun. I have it for sale. Done.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Okay. Gone are the days when gun sellers pretended to be selling benign modern sporting rifles. At the NRA show, many brands were traded on dark imagery of societal collapse, pitching military-grade hardware to civilians on the theory they might find themselves in a war zone of a future failed state.
I will have you know, every firearm I own is far better than military grade.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would never buy anything military grade.
And I'll have you know that I'm not some kind of nut job, but every firearm I own was purchased with that like potentiality, that possibility in mind.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, the fear porn in this article is fantastic.
Oh my God.
Black Rain Ordnance, which is just a terrible firearm, by the way.
They're just garbage manufacturers.
Black Rain Ordnance, whose post-apocalyptic logo is the biohazard symbol, was selling an AR painted with the Texas flag and militia-friendly branding, calling the rifle the Bro Patriot.
I've never even shot one of those guns, and now I never fucking will, just from what you just said.
Yep.
I never will.
The ejection port dust flap is printed with the words, "Let it rain."
Dust flap.
Because it's called Black fucking Rain.
The booth for Kalashnikov USA with the prepper-friendly tagline, "Be ready, stay ready," featured semi-automatic shotgun called the Chaos.
Okay, what is this thing?
I want to shoot one of those so bad.
Have you guys seen this lately? Have you guys seen so many idiots using the term semi-automatic like it's so fucking scary? They mean automatic. They think it means automatic. They don't even fucking know what semi-automatic means.
Yeah.
Nemesis Arms, a Kentucky-based gunmaker named after the Greek goddess of retribution, marketed what it dubs, quote, "the true survival rifle for big boys." Several vendors even appealed to the unique aesthetic of the Boogaloo movement, a loose collection of meme-driven violent extremists who are prepping for an impending civil war. They dress in loud Hawaiian print shirts, show up at public events armed to the teeth, ready for the breakout of a conflict that they call the Boogaloo or the Big Luau.
I don't know who they're trying to market to.
The big Hawaiian Ice House, the Great Hoot Nanny.
An AR seller called Dark Storm Industries marketed its AR platform guns with a poster of a menacing rifle-toting man wearing a tropical button-up shirt. Stag Arms was more explicit, marketing the AR-15 painted in a Hawaiian floral camo it calls the Aloha.
I mean,
this is what happens.
I absolutely would buy that.
I was going to say this is what happens when FUDs start firearm companies.
There's a certain
the thing is too, though, is that you know they complain about how everything's scary in the firearms industry, and it's all meant to be reference to like what the guns can do and what they can be used for. But you notice that if anybody ever founds a company that's like Care Bear Tactical Industries or something, and
I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah, and then they're all like cute, cuddly imagery. Then they go, "You're marketing to children," and freak out.
Exactly.
You can't fucking win with these people. Fuck them.
Yep. There's an
AR in a floral pattern like this flag over my shoulder over here.
Like if you
wouldn't be a scary black rifle, would it?
Like if you compared it to a vehicle, right, to a car, right? They advertise vehicles with horsepower, right, torque. Right, they want the car to sound good and to do all this other stuff. How is that any different than what you want a rifle to perform? Like you purchase a rifle knowing what it can do. Well, how can you know what it can do? They advertise what it can do.
Why would you buy it if you didn't know what it could fucking do?
Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, no one's freaking out at Dodge and going, "Well, you have the Hellcat and the Demon, and you're all scary, and it's 700, 800 horsepower. No one needs that much horsepower."
Ford Raptor.
You know what? There's a gun shop down the road, and they have a gun that has the Louis Vuitton logo all over it. So I'm just gonna go buy that, even though I don't know anything about that fucking gun.
Well, that's like, there's a Glock out there you can get that's in Tiffany blue.
Yeah. You can buy a Glock Tiffany blue or pink.
Sold.
I'm just saying, I've got a Lalouis Vuitton purse and wallet and duffel bag. It fits in with my luggage. I'm gonna go buy it.
We actually know somebody on Twitter that sells laser engraved Louis Vuitton AK mags.
Nice.
Yeah.
Schaller says, Dyreka, make Care Bear firearms and sell the Rainbow Care Bear on discount for Pride Month.
That would be awesome.
Hold on. There's a certain honesty to these marketing campaigns. The weapon they're selling are derived from military guns designed to empower relatively unskilled marksmen, kill lots of people as effectively as possible. The real world use case
if you don't know how to operate a firearm effectively, you're not going to hit fuck all.
The real world case for these guns isn't hunting, it's warfare.
Yep.
Well, then quit fucking starting wars, you idiot. Quit pushing people to war.
Quit doing shit that you would otherwise be shot for.
Yeah.
Then you won't have to worry. It's funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, totally funny how that works. Quit being D-bags and there will be no war. How about that?
Wouldn't it be great if wars could be settled by the fuckheads that start them?
Absolutely.
Right?
We've talked about this before. We have talked about the octagon before and putting the fucking 2 liters in it and selling pay-per-view fucking
just go back to dueling.
Yeah,
let them go back to dueling.
No, yeah. We need some fucking bloodshed. It has to be like fisticuffs to the death, right? In an octagon and it's pay-per-view. Okay.
And then I would be happy with death by 1,000 cuts. Make it airsoft but with steel BBs.
Ow, ow, ow. Yeah, but then all of the really fat leaders would win.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have more padding.
Absorb more. Yeah, they could absorb more.
Well, okay, but no eye protection, so they can get shot in the eye.
There you go.
Okay.
You shoot your eye out.
Or the temple. I mean, the temple would cause some damage.
Wasn't that the purpose behind the movie, the really crappy movie, but the movie Rollerball?
Yes.
Wasn't that like where countries didn't fight wars anymore? They had this like extreme violent blood sport that they competed in to settle disputes.
Challer, it's not Putin versus Biden because that's a losing proposition. I would say Putin versus. Win. Fair enough. Putin versus Zelensky, I would absolutely pay for that pay-per-view.
I'd fucking watch that. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I would. A comedian versus a former KGB agent.
Yeah.
Putin versus Zelensky versus Xi versus Camellia Harris.
Oh. They just put a big angry Russian bear in there too.
We got to put Kim in there too. Yeah.
Who in there?
And Kim Jong-un, he's got to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Apparently, his sister used to beat him up a lot, so I think his sister's actually tougher.
Oh,
dude, I've seen pictures of his sister, and she's definitely fucking tougher.
That death stare is solid.
She is a spooky bitch.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like shit written about her, and god damn it, she's terrifying.
He's just a fat kid that wants cake. She's like fucking straight up like I will tear your soul from your body and eat it.
Yeah,
kind of evil.
She's like
there's a strong possibility she would have already nuked Japan. You know, after we did,
and does
if it wasn't for the fact that
South Korea.
Yeah, I stand by that. I'm 99% sure she would have already pushed their little red button by now.
Yeah.
Of course, knowing North Korean technology would have blown up on the launch pad and nuked North Korea. So
yeah,
win-win.
Everybody wins there.
Problem solved.
Yep. Okay.
Hopefully she's there to watch the launch.
I got one more paragraph, and then the rest of this article is just about the NRA convention. There's endless fetishization of everything from AR-15s to Kalashnikovs to sleek black Glocks and candy-colored pistols, and there's not an iota of embarrassment. Not from the NRA members strolling the floor with their blissed-out smiles on their faces. Not from the Houston cops I saw in full uniform holding up short-barreled shotguns, pistols, and even a metal bat covered with spikes. And not from the vendors hawking Chick-fil-A sandwiches or cell service from the Patriot Mobile, America's only Christian conservative wireless provider.
Fun fact,
okay, this is ridiculous.
Towers.
This article just goes on and on and on like that.
It's because they're in a fucking convention. Have you ever been to Comic-Con? Oh my god.
Oh god.
There's no shame there either. People act the exact same way about all their nerd shit.
People show up
at fucking convention.
I used to go to Cisco Live every year. You want to see people go all out? Jesus Christ. There was one time, I swear to God, there was a vendor there with a stripper pole. And one of their honeypots always constantly doing a fucking pole dance on that shit.
Mm-hmm. It's a fucking computer convention.
It's a convention. People go.
That's the cover photo they used for the article.
And then if you want that shirt, you can get that from OAF Nation. It's like $50.
Like people,
by the way,
people go
no
to
such thing as a sleek Glock.
Right.
There's no such thing as a sleek Glock.
Yeah, they're square. They're blocks. I don't.
They're Lego guns, just like the AR is. But I mean,
like people go to conventions to wallow in fucking culture, a culture that they happen to be into.
Well, and it's so funny that they always call it fetishization. It's like, the only people who hypersexualize absolutely everything, including children, would be you, not us. We're not sexualizing this. This isn't a fetishized thing at all. This is us just getting.
This is a practicality.
If you see dicks everywhere you look, that might be a you problem, buddy.
There's a meme that I have that I post on occasion that Andrew absolutely hates about that.
Oh no, let's not talk. No.
It's an AK wearing a little tutu and the magazine's going in, and it's. What are you doing?
I know this one. This is fucking.
What are you doing, Step AK?
And there's like goo going from the magwell to the fucking mag.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's so
no. It's fucking hilarious. No. God damn it, that shit's hilarious.
Oh, there's one of an AR too that's got like the ahigao fucking eyes and stuff with a mag being shoved into it, and it's. See that? All right, fine. I'll give you that's fetishizing things, and like you are fucked up. All right, but
there's probably something Magnus created.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
I mean, we all know that it's the left that's entirely fucking obsessed with sex.
Well, yeah, there's the meme that I love so much. It's you have an AR.
And that's coming from
now
us.
I'm thinking about your penis.
That's coming from us, from Anarchy Amongst Friends. I mean, how often do we make fucking sexual jokes on this fucking podcast? Like ever since we've been doing this. How long have we been doing this, Jason? 5 years, 6 years?
At least six to 9 times a show.
Yeah, but like for years now. It's been like 6-7 years, something like that, right?
2017.
Damn.
So 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. And so if we think that you talk about sex a little too much and maybe you need therapy, that's saying something. Because we probably all need therapy too.
We are the only anarchist podcast that will bring up strippers, though.
Yeah, really? I think we really are too, and we bring them up like once an episode.
Yeah, we support our local single moms. That's why.
It says.
Oh my god! I got to play with a stripper pole for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and it was so fun.
Do tell.
We were at a party. Me and Kevin were at a party.
Is that the one where you had to put your keys in the fishbowl?
No.
She doesn't quite remember.
No, I doubt it. I don't think it was that one.
Did they have a carpet in the background? Was there a van there outside?
It was a hotel takeover party. Okay.
Oh, even worse.
Oh no.
To be fair, we have a stripper pole here, and my wife took it to our buddy's wife's bachelorette party, and they were on it for the car ride from his house to the strip club and back.
Kevin was like, "Damn, you're good at that. I never knew you could do that." I was like, "Me neither. I guess I'm just a fucking natural."
I guess we know what's going in your bedroom next.
No. See, look.
Kids, get out.
Look, I can do it, but my back wasn't happy with me the next day.
It's for structural.
Well, your back's not normally happy with you anyway when he gets done with you because you're just arching so much. And
yoga makes it a lot easier. It's just like,
See, more yoga then. There you go.
More flexible.
Warm up. That's when you know you're getting old, when you have to start doing some warm up exercises beforehand.
Seriously.
Derek can just plead the fifth.
I can neither confirm nor deny that. Sorry.
Schaller says, I bet Kevin would rock the shit out of that pole.
I think he would. He would need some practice because he just doesn't really have rhythm. He's not one of those. No. He was born a pole leg, man. Like the jerk. He doesn't fucking have rhythm.
Kevin's got Magic Mike on his.
God bless him. I love him though, but he doesn't have rhythm.
All right, where do we want to go?
You're the guy with the articles.
Okay, well let's just go continue this line of thinking and talk about somebody getting fucked by the government.
Shit, yeah, let's do it.
Why not?
Court upholds $573,000 penalty against East Sacramento homeowner who was working on cars in his yard.
$573,000.
Court
$500,000.
This is how you get Killdozer.
which yesterday was the anniversary of it. We'll talk about that later. But court upholds $573,000 penalty against East Sacramento homeowner who worked on cars in his yard.
That's fucked up. That's cruel and unusual. They can't fucking do that.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
So. Yeah, it's California.
Let's see. Retiree Dan Allstat, 83, says he does not have the money to pay the judgment, and he worries his house will be seized. The case
Who would have the money to pay that judgment? Nobody fucking.
The case dates
nobody that would be working on cars in their own fucking yard.
Exactly.
Case dates of 2014 when Allstat brought a van and other vehicles into his backyard, triggering a code enforcement penalty. The appeals court ruling notes Allstat's contested the city's code enforcement actions that year. The city sued him in 2015, and when he battled the city in court since then, recently acting as his own attorney, probably because he can't afford one. Allstat at the appeals court argued that the fees infringe on his constitutional right as a property owner, and he contends that the fees were excessive. The appeals court found that the filings lacked sufficient evidence for several claims, including his argument that it would become, quote, homeless and penniless if he loses his house.
Wait, why did he have to prove his claims?
Yeah.
And like Jack said, and then one day, for no reason at all, he bought a used bulldozer.
Yeah, he bought a Komatsu bulldozer and a bunch of plates.
Defendant's argument is unfocused and difficult to discern. That's according to 3rd District Court of Appeal Judge Louis Morrow.
It's not difficult to discern. You know exactly what the fuck he's saying. Oh my God.
Morrow cited a 2000 San Francisco case in which the courts ruled a $663,000 fee for ongoing code violations was not constitutionally excessive.
How is that not constitutional? That one was bullshit too.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
I don't care what the hell the violation was. That was excessive.
Yeah. And wait, he's just working on cars. He's not like running a mechanic shop or selling.
No, absolutely not. Okay. Allstat in 2014 parked an old van in his fenced backyard where he worked on it on the grass, which is a code violation. He also had at least 5
backyard.
It's important to note that the reason it's a code violation is not that he was working on it in his backyard. It was because it was on grass and fluids could leak and get into groundwater.
Into the watershed. Yeah. Okay.
He also had at least 5 other vehicles on the property, some of which he inherited when his brother died.
What?
A neighbor complained, and the city cited him, claiming that all vehicles appeared to be inoperable. It also issued violations for other backyard items, such as car parts, a generator, propane tanks, and fruit that had fallen off his orange and grapefruit trees.
Fruit that had fallen off the tree was an ordinance violation.
Yes. Allstat has since removed the inoperable vehicles and other items. His H Street house, a block from the affluent Fab 40s neighborhood, looks tidy and neat from the street, painted white with blue trim. His fenced backyard is mostly empty, with the exception of a patio set. He keeps a few old operating vehicles in his driveway.
Is he sure that the patio set isn't a fucking ordinance violation? He still owes
$573,000 in code violations, which accumulated over the years with penalties of $250 a day.
That's so excessive.
You know, I'm not saying that there's a solution. I'm just saying there's a solution.
Yeah.
Quote, that the city
there are solutions. We're just not going to tell you exactly what they are. We trust you to find them on your own.
Yes. We trust you to figure that out for yourself.
There's a book by Ben Stone. There's also another one called Small Unit Tactics.
There's so many good books out there. Really, lots of good books out.
Lots of good.
Hit me up on Telegram. I got some links for you.
Introduction to Welding is a fantastic one if you're happen to own a Komatsu bulldozer.
Yeah, this dude's get like all of a sudden the neighbors are gonna see a bulldozer delivered and like a welder and like bunch of truckload of metal plates. And we're like, what's that for? Nothing.
Nope.
I'm building a garage that I can put all these cars in so they won't leak on the grass.
Yes. Quote, that the city can charge such exorbitant and unreasonable fees for having things in the backyard is beyond belief. I don't know how they were able to do this. It is perplexing how disputed allegations of so-called, quote, junk and debris in a person's backyard can escalate to the point where the city owns your property.
I mean, that's what they do, though. I mean, they kill people over grass being too long.
Yes. Well, I mean, look at fucking property taxes. I mean, you're essentially paying rent. Well, we've covered this many times.
Oh, right, yeah.
Rent to the government.
They will take your property over fucking what was an article I remember from like years ago?
There was one about like 80 some odd cents.
Yeah, there was one like it was like $2,900, and they seized the woman's house, and then was able to keep the profits.
Yeah.
There was the one in Arizona where they seized a person's house over like $87 or something like that, and then sold it at auction.
Well, there was like a veteran that was like it was like 80 something cents. I think
that was Arizona. That was
Arizona one.
Yeah, and then at the same time you have here in La Crosse, they just had a thing that was no mow May, where the city allowed property owners to not mow their lawns because mowing your lawn too often hurts all of the bugs and like bees and everything else. So they
allow me
to not mow your lawn.
Okay, we're in a really bad drought here in California, and you're not allowed to mow you're not allowed to mow your lawn on certain days or water your lawn on certain days, right? So a lot of people are tearing out their lawns and they're putting in like rocks or gravel in the driveway, things like that. There's a homeowners association in Southern California that is saying you can't do that you have to put in sod or mulch.
And that's why you tell them to fuck off, because homeowners associations can fuck off.
Hold on, there's precedence for that, because in South Carolina, a federal judge just ruled that to leave an HOA, the HOA can incur a fine upon you.
You can be fined for moving because you're telling them to fuck off?
Yes.
So like expatriation taxes like the U.S. fucking government does.
That's exactly what it is. It's an expatriation tax.
California just recently passed, where if you move out of the state, they still collect taxes from you for like 9 years or something like that.
I think it's like 7 years or something like that. They wanted to do 10, but that got shut down.
They were trying to do an exit tax too in California.
Fucking try it. Come after me. Come get me, bro.
Yeah.
Hold on. Here's one for Hold on. I got one for you. Speaking of California, since we're on the subject of California right now has a $100 billion budget surplus. 100 billion with a B. They can pass universal health care. They can end homelessness in California, and they can still have enough money to feed Africa.
They can do everything the liberals thought Elon Musk should have done instead of buying Twitter. They can fucking do it, and they won't do it.
They won't do it.
No, they won't do it.
Yeah, why would they?
Because it takes away all of their bargaining.
But in this case, the money isn't even theirs. Elon Musk, at least the money was his.
What they're doing instead is the bullet train. The bullet train from San Francisco to Los Angeles that literally nobody wants.
That nobody wants.
Yeah, that's what I was saying though. Is like if I moved out of an HOA because they were being an HOA and complete fuck sticks, and they were like, we're gonna fine you for this, for leaving. My response would be, gosh, I'm really sorry to hear about all of the HOA members' homes burning to the ground. Oh, when did that happen? Oh, in about a week and a half.
Yep, it's
well. My response would be like, "Fucking make me."
Well,
start the car in the morning.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, as we talked about before, where there's more people, there's going to be more government, right? So, like, I was looking at a property in Idaho, 280 acres, and the yearly property tax on that is half of what I pay for rent here in Antioch.
Jesus.
Just for the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
No. The yearly property tax in Idaho for that
annual property tax.
Annual property tax
is
for
half what you pay.
280 acres is half of what I pay per month for rent here in Antioch.
Jeez.
That's how it is here in Colorado. The like 40-acre properties is like $250 a year in taxes.
I can't imagine why everybody's packing up and leaving California. It's just completely a mystery.
On our property, we have like 2.25 acres here in Virginia, and we pay like $2,400 a year in property tax.
I have half an acre, but I'm inside the city limits, and I pay about $2,000 a year.
Andrew just mentioned leaving California. Okay, it is. I did this for shits and giggles because a podcast couple that I follow, prepping podcast, they moved. But it is cheaper. It is cheaper to fly to Butte, Montana, rent a U-Haul, drive it back to California, fill it up, drive it back to Butte, Montana, than it is to rent a U-Haul in California and drive it to Butte, Montana.
It's because there's
so many people in California with U-Haul.
Yeah, right. because
it's actually there are some U-Haul locations that will pay you. So if you're the guy that
to drive it back,
flies to Butte, rents a U-Haul, drives it back and forth, they will pay you to drive it back to California again, and for your airfare to fly back to Butte, Montana.
There's Craigslist ads. There's Craigslist ads all the time from U-Haul, from some of the other travel companies that will pay you to fly to different cities and drive U-Hauls back.
Yep.
Wow.
You can make a good living doing nothing but that.
Yeah.
Shit, I gotta tell Micah that kid needs a fucking job.
Tell him his Glock is illegal in California, though.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's gonna give a shit. So.
Allstat plans.
Sorry, that's the problem with raising anarchist brats is they don't give a shit about the law.
I was gonna say nobody on this podcast or their associated family members are legal in California.
Yeah. And we don't give a fuck.
You are not legal in California. Your opinion should have gotten you freaking shot by now.
Yeah. Allstat plans to appeal the decision to California Supreme Court, where it has a very low chance of being heard. He said he plans to take it all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court if necessary.
Yeah, I fucking
go for it. Somebody fucking has to. This shit is getting ridiculous.
It's been ridiculous. Stop sometime.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about.
I swear to God, you guys, I'm going to shove those bells up that dog's fucking ass if he rings them one more goddamn time.
So here, I got the patch for it.
Not legal in California.
Not legal in California. Or if you're an East Coaster, just in case. I also
not legal in New York.
Not legal in New York. As well.
Nice.
So
I was wearing earlier today. I was wearing my Prop 65 warning. This person carries ammunition containing lead, which is known to the state of California to cause cancer.
Cause cancer.
I'll get those. Like when I buy patches from Patriot Patch Company, it actually when I go to the order form, it actually says that at the bottom of the order form, the Prop 65 warning. So yeah, 570.
Jason, I know you live there, but your state is batshit fucking crazy.
Oh, it's terrible. It's absolutely
terrible. I would not shed a single tear if everything west of the San Andreas just suddenly got flooded.
I would not have either. The state would go red.
Yeah, remember that old book? I think they made into a movie called Goodbye California, where that terrorist threatened to put a thermonuclear device in the San Andreas fault, and he was going to blow it up and knock the rest of California into the sea. And at the time, that was a horrible thing, and now everyone's like, "Do it, pussy! Come on,
do it."
Yeah,
I would
do it.
I'm poking him with a stick. Come on, do it. Do it.
Do it.
I would sign that change. I would sign that change.org petition.
Oh fuck yeah! Hell, I'll actually donate to the cause.
Yeah.
Did you need assistance? Did you need a ride?
Look in the chat. Big shells.
Get the fuck out. Yeah.
If you live there, but it's time to get the fuck out.
Yeah,
we don't need to donate. We just need to run a heist on California and take their $1 billion fucking service.
Yeah. If it weren't for my kids, I'd be living under a bridge in Reno or something. I would not be in California. Yes, Jack. Dave dropped a new patch this week. He's doing the dinosaur set right now.
I can't wait for him to drop the TMNT patches.
Yeah, those are coming. I think next month.
I
think next month.
I love me some TMNT.
Right now he has a dinosaur set going on.
That was my shit when I was a kid.
Oh, me too. I absolutely love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I think I still have my Polaroid with Raphael.
Anarcho baby had spaghetti for the first time tonight.
Oh, so cute.
Do you guys remember the vehicle, like the van that you could get for him?
Oh yeah, I had one.
With April, with little April in it.
Yeah.
And the thing that shot little pizzas off the top of it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. We had one of those.
Foot Clan stuff, and I had like Bebop and Rocksteady action figures. And
I used to park that thing in my Barbie Dreamhouse garage.
I had the turtle van
up there.
All right. Okay.
One, you know.
Since we're on California, you want to see the California article?
I don't know, dude. It's kind of stressing me out.
Hold on. You'll like this one. You'll like this one.
Talking California has me feeling like I'm listening to fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No shit.
California court rules that bees are a type of fish in order to endangered species act.
Fish one.
You tagged me on this one on Facebook.
I always say that if you give a man a fish, he'll go, "Oh God, these are bees! What the fuck is wrong with them? Oh God, they stung my mouth! I'm allergic. Give me my EpiPen."
Oh. Well, like when Jason tagged me in that on Facebook, I was like, "Why didn't they just add bees to the protection legislation?"
Because that would be too easy.
If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go grab a magnifying glass. I have some fish to fry.
And if my argument just made sense to you, you can find my book on critical thinking on Amazon, because that shit.
Shameless
plug. I mean, like, this is the high quality level thinking we're talking about in my book. Basic fucking common sense.
If they can't define a woman, it really shouldn't surprise anybody that they also can't define fish.
No. Not that they can't define one. It's that they're not biologists.
They're not qualified to define a woman.
Yeah. So apparently
they're not qualified to fucking do anything then, because they should not be regulating fuck all.
So they're not qualified to put bees on this fucking protective legislation, but they are qualified to reclassify bees from bees to fish.
As we all know, like, somebody needs to explain the idea of flying fish to these people, and that they don't actually fly.
Apparently they do, and they're cute, and you can pet them when they're on the floor.
They're like jumping, gliding fish. They're not really flying.
That means in the state of California, there are more fish out of water than there are fish in water.
Oh my God.
Well, you can.
That must be because of the drought. Oh my God, we have to do something about global warming. Holy shit.
You could say that, except most of the bees are on fire.
We need to increase the humidity so that there's more. We need to increase the humidity so that there's more air or more water in the air to save the bees' lives.
Save the bees.
How about we just pack up the humidity from the mid-Atlantic and ship it to you guys?
Fuck you. No.
You can fuck you. You have to take it now. I don't fucking want it anymore.
You can have half the humidity from the upper Midwest, okay?
Half. We do not want 95 with humidity. No.
Well, tough. I don't want it either, but here we are.
Okay. A trio of judges.
60 with humidity lately.
I'm not real familiar with how to fillet a bumble, but I mean, I'm sure I can find like a YouTube video. Something.
Well, they're really easy, because once you pull out the sting, or the guts come with it. So it's self-cleaning. Yeah, you can just skewer it.
Makes sense. Do you like some dried bee?
So how do you prepare that? You just wrap it up in like leaves with a little couple lemon slices and wrap it in clay and stick it in the fire?
Personally, I prefer to just pan fry them with some bacon grease.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, because Gordon Ramsay did this salt pack thing once that looked really fucking interesting.
Can you imagine lutefisk made?
Well, it's like with cricket. It's like with crickets, right? Like they dip the crickets in chocolate, or they do like a honey roast. I think a bee is being like surrounded by the honey.
I see what you did there.
I think a honey roasted bee would probably be really good.
That's kind of sick though, if you think about it, like you're roasting it in its own vomit.
That's like deep frying bacon.
Well, it's like deep frying chicken. You got to dip it in its own dead babies first. So
that's true.
But,
human beings are sick.
Haven't you had chopped up chicken, mixed in some eggs, and put it over?
Yeah. I like to do that as I look at other chickens, make eye contact, like you're next, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's like,
you know
in
what?
my city, you can't legally have chickens, but you can have chickens as pets. I have chickens as pets. They just poop breakfast. That's all.
And they go missing.
You know what, Andrew? Most of them actually deserve that treatment, Andrew, because most of them are fucking assholes.
It's like glaring at the rooster, like, this is for waking me up, motherfucker. Who's
the bigger asshole, the cat or the rooster?
Oh, the rooster always. Dude, my mom, when she was little, they had a rooster that would chase cars on the fucking busy road. People wouldn't even get out of there when they came to visit at the farm. People wouldn't even get out of their fucking cars because of that goddamn rooster.
Honey sriracha covered bee sweet with a little sting.
Oh, nice.
Get out. Out.
Boo.
All right. A trio of judges in California said on Tuesday that bees can legally be classified as a type of fish as part of a ruling that brings added conservation protections for the endangered species.
I think it's more ridiculous every time I hear it.
Quote, the issue presented here is
three judges. Three fucking judges agreed on this.
Yes.
Three adult men with college degrees.
Maybe they're not men. I'm sure at least one of them's a minority female.
The issue presented here is whether the bumblebee, a terrestrial invertebrate, falls within the definition of fish. And we concluded that it does.
But then your definition of fish is really bad, because fish are also vertebrates.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
And not terrestrial.
And you're just retarded, okay? You're just fucking retarded.
There is literally nothing in common between a bee and a fish. They don't breathe the same thing. They don't eat the same thing. They don't have the same method of locomotion.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could try to equate a fin to a wing, but it's
no.
You could try.
I'm saying much try. Well, you could try anything. I mean,
all right, here's a go. Although four,
never mind. I'm not going to get into the list of shit that I've tried.
although 4 different bee species were classified as endangered in 2018, land invertebrates are not explicitly protected under the state's Endangered Species Act, which protects endangered, quote, native species or subspecies of a bird, mammal, fish, amphibian, reptile, or plant.
Okay, wait.
It doesn't mention bugs.
Birds are on that fucking list. Wouldn't it make more sense to classify bees as birds?
You're doing bird.
They're a fish. Anarchy. You know how many dead bumblebees I have found in my pool?
Well, clearly none, because they're fish, I'll have you know. And therefore, that's their natural
they can breathe underwater.
That's why they're trying to go there, is they're just trying to go home.
Anarchy, what you got to do is you got to figure out what's wrong with your aerator, because that's why they
self-identify as a fish, Splash. That's not how it works.
This is what happens when people start talking about fucking reality being subjective.
You know, the funny thing is, too, is I guarantee you that one of
I knew someone was going to make that comment.
Birds aren't real, but bees are. Yeah. But the funny thing is, I can almost guarantee you that they are probably also concerned about honeybee populations, which is extra funny because you know what's not native to North America?
Birds aren't real.
Honeybees!
Birds aren't real, bees are.
They're trying to go up the pool to spawn. Oh my god.
Somebody find David Attenborough. We need a narration.
God damn it, Shaler.
Oh, the Marty Stauffer of my youth is just rolling over in his grave. Oh.
My high school biology teacher is rolling over in his grave with this story.
Can you imagine Marty Stauffer narrating that? The humble bee diving into the water to find its mate to spawn.
God.
Returning upstream to the hive.
Yeah.
Oh.
How graceful it is. Oh, nope, that one's dead.
Look how graceful it is. Boink, boink.
All of a sudden you see a bunch of catfish and trout with like big swollen lips from biting on bees.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would surprise the shit out of those bears at the crossings. Like, oh my god. Oh!
Oh, is that where they came up with the connection? Bears like fish and bears like honey. Bees must be fish.
Yeah, that's totally logical.
That tracks. That tracks. Yep.
Totally tracks.
Another one from Shaler. So we no longer talk to kids about the birds and the bees. Is it the birds and the fish?
The birds and the fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me tell you about the birds and the fish.
Oh.
Well, birds aren't real, so it's just fish.
Yeah, it's just the fish.
We just tell kids about fish.
Fish and the fish.
Right. So the woman drops the egg, and the other fish swims over and lays its sperm on top of it, and then they both die.
I've seen some porn that.
And everything dies because reality is just completely fucking broken down at this point.
Wait until the bees are full of SSRIs too.
Oh,
Did you see that? I think it was at a Tampa. There's some fish that they caught tested positive for like antidepressants.
doesn't surprise me. Look, do you know that all of our groundwater is so full of fucking endocrine disruptors because of the enormously widespread use of hormonal birth control?
Yep.
Right? Women pee it out and it ends up in the fucking groundwater and it doesn't get filtered out by the purification system.
We had to test, I think it was like 2017, a different water in my area, and like 85 or 90% of the tap water tested positive for measurable amounts of illicit and pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Can you imagine a fucking northern pike on coke? Like, that's just not good for anybody.
With a huge pair of tits from all the estrogen in the water.
Andrew, take that and think about that 55-inch muskie a couple of years back that took the foot off a woman in Minnesota.
What was the one in Idaho that just caught a was it like 10 and a half feet, 560-pound white sturgeon?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oof.
Imagine that one all fucking cranked out.
Yeah, just like
Sturgeon are so fucking big. Oh my god.
They're fairly gentle giants. Just don't maybe angle your fingers in the water.
Crackfish. Crackfish is going to be a thing.
Yeah, the crackfish.
They did that on King of the Hill. He used crack as fishing bait.
Well, remember the Simpsons with the tobacco.
Yeah.
They crossbred tobacco and tobacco, and then all the animals attacking the tobacco.
And they had like bloodshot eyes and shit.
Yeah, and then like they took the helicopter down and shit. Like
tobacco.
No. So Jack, he started his own hive up there in Michigan. He was showing pictures of it in one of our other group chats. So he's now a fish farmer.
Nice.
You could describe yourself as an aquaculturist. And,
yes. Yeah, you're a professional. Yeah.
Shaler, you deserve to be shot for that comment.
We're stocking lake trout, and they just open it up and let bees fly.
Shaler goes, but I thought if it smelt like trout, you get the fuck out.
God. Out.
Wah, wah, wah.
God damn it, Jason. I'm just saying, God damn it, Andrew. I almost said it, but
force of habit. Germany, no. What? I'm not doing it. Sorry, force of habit.
California's almost Germany. It's getting bad.
Yeah.
Do we have any articles not from California?
Yes, we have. We have a Killdozer one, and then we have
one
like a Red Hot Chili Peppers playlist.
And then we have Michigan, we have Michigan, and we have Alabama, and then we have NSA involvement.
Basically the same thing.
And we have NSA involvement in an encryption project.
Part of me wants to do the Alabama one, but part of me really doesn't want to do.
I used to do encryption for NSA when I was in the military.
I know, that's why I added this.
So we're gonna do that one. We're back. Let's do that one.
The NSA involvement in encryption project raises suspicions. Shock face.
No. What? The national of untoward activity. I am shocked, sir.
Well, the National Security Agency is assisting with an effort to define a new encryption standard that's unbreakable by the quantum computers of the future. And the agency has promised it won't build secret vulnerabilities into the standard.
Oh,
lies.
Okay.
Receipts.
Oh, I feel so much better now that they promised they won't.
Yeah,
right. We swear, guys. We totally swear.
The NSA has worked with the National Institute of Standards and Technology to create a post-quantum encryption standard. Rob Joyce, the NSA's director of cybersecurity, recently told Bloomberg News that there's, quote, there are no backdoors.
I beg to differ.
Bullshit.
Both in your individual relationships and from the government. There's always backdoors.
Yeah, there's always a fucking backdoor. you will always get fucked in it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone was prefer that. Okay. Joyce's comment raised some eyebrows in the cybersecurity
Aren't you guys
community.
glad to have me back?
No.
Yes, absolutely.
Not at all. Joyce's comments raised some eyebrows in the cybersecurity community, given that a backdoor would benefit the NSA's work to monitor communications of terrorism suspects and other targets.
The NSA doesn't really actually do that. TSA fucking does that.
Yeah, the NSA has national security interests that depend on strong encryption, but also has competing interests in conducting surveillance on a wide range of targets, some cybersecurity experts noted.
You mean like suspected DE because we disagree with the government?
Yeah, are you suggesting that the NSA like spies on people?
Would they lie to us?
What's
they
coming
would
to
lie
mind
to
right now,
us,
Andrew, what's really coming to mind right now is the Boogaloo side quest meme about taking out the NSA data center when traditional
Viking
centers
with the Viking one with the explosions.
That would be easier now because Utah is under a drought also. Just putting that out there.
You know what we need is just giant barrels full of angry fish that we can release.
Yeah. Charles Denyer, D-E-N-Y-U. I'm gonna call him Charles Denyer. Charles Denyer, a cybersecurity advisor and author, said, quote, absolutes are difficult to promise, especially in information security. So I do give pause to any notion of no backdoors. If there's a vested interest in a backdoor, and obviously there is for the NSA, it would be hard to assume it would be eliminated.
Having gone to Christian music festivals, I assure you there is always a backdoor.
There's always a backdoor. There's always a backdoor.
We've already covered this, Andrew. There's always
a backdoor.
And you'll always get fucked in it. Yeah, we covered that too. Yeah.
The difference is whether or not they use lube or not.
I think that's illegal. That's illegal in like 7 states or something like that, right?
If there is a backdoor,
like that,
the government will find it and will utilize it aggressively.
Yep. What we're trying to say, America, what we're trying to say is no matter what you think of yourself, as long as the fucking government exists, you're a bottom and you're always going to be a fucking bottom.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
Quote, the NSA has some of the finest cryptographers in the world, and well-funded rumors have circulated for years about the efforts to place backdoors in encryption software, operating systems, and hardware.
Okay, I might have something to say about the word finest because I know a bunch of those motherfuckers.
Whether it's in the name of law enforcement or national security.
I was going to let you say something about that. I had the same thought.
Hey, I thought the
if
same
they were
thing.
if they were finest, they would be private sector by now.
Yeah.
No shit.
Whether it's in the name of law enforcement or national security, the authorities have a long-running disdain for encryption.
No.
Shaller says, when is it appropriate to use the back door?
Only when other people are using it and they can't break it. That's the only time they have fucking disdain for it.
We all know the best back doors are only for you.
Using the back door is how to cure your throat problem.
Every 28 days is when it's appropriate to use backdoor.
Yeah, well,
it really depends. How much is she drinking?
Well, and the other thing is, do you have red sheets? It blends in that way. I mean, it
doesn't really with them. You know what? I'm not getting into that. No, we're not going there.
All I'm going to say is Amber Heard, and we're just going to move on.
I love the meme of Amber Heard where it says newly single, something about only partially housebroken.
Yeah.
Quote,
my favorite was the Captain Jack Sparrow one. Where she says, yours is without a doubt the most regrettable bet I've ever pooped in. And he says, but you have pooped in it.
Backdoors are only possible when you are obscuring things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the point of encryption. That's literally the fucking point.
Yes, that is
of encryption.
Governments have literally always hated encryption, ciphers, anything like that. Going all the way back, you go back to the fucking 1200s and people wrote in code and the governments didn't like that. So,
well, they only don't like it when they're not the ones controlling it, just like everything else. They will use anything that they vilify. They will fucking use it as long as they are in control of it.
Well, I mean, even governments in control of it.
Yeah, that's why
only the Enigma machine.
That's why only the government should have AR-15s.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Well, go back to World War II with the Enigma machines. The Allies were absolutely just losing their fucking mind because of the Enigma machines.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was unbreakable. It's like the Japanese. They were losing their minds because of the code talkers.
Well, the
encryption.
The Japanese encryption also was complete garbage.
Yes.
But we broke it so fast.
So was all of their aircraft were garbage. Like,
I don't know. The Zero was pretty solid.
Yeah, Zero was pretty good.
Wow.
But but I mean, like even the Germans, right? Even the Nazi Germans, like you talk about the Enigma, there was a secondary encryption setup for Enigmas that was double encrypted, that was for officers in the inner circle only.
Yep.
So that even regular soldiers couldn't decrypt using the Enigma machine.
There usually is. I mean, there's usually different protocols, for leadership.
Yeah. So like that, even the government is happy to use encryption themselves to even encrypt things versus other government people, so that even other government people can't read things.
They do it all the time.
I mean, in the private sector, where my external website has 3 different layers of encryption on it. You have your standard SSL certs, but you go all the way down to where people start logging into their medical records and stuff on their phones, and you're talking 40 or 4,000-bit RSA keys that are also behind 2 other layers of encryption before you even get to that point.
Encryption is a fucking ubiquitous part of human life. There's no way around it.
And obviously,
I got one more. I got one paragraph. NIST spokesman said NSA's involvement in the project is "quote unquote" limited. They put limited in quotation marks. They put limited in quotation marks. The NSA provided feedback as a stakeholder on its quote priorities and plans for post-quantum cryptography in the national security systems, and on related efforts to standardize development organizations such as the Internet Engineer Task Force.
I want to point out
this is limited, like American involvement in Vietnam in 1967.
The article puts limited in quotation marks.
And I want to point out. So on Friday, we actually had a meeting.
Was it limited?
No. We actually had a meeting with representatives.
Was there a backdoor?
Yes.
Okay.
We actually had a meeting with people from NIST.
Let him talk, goddammit.
We actually had a meeting at the place I work for with people from NIST because we deal in protected information. And two of the people from NIST that were on the call had NSA badges on their freaking shoulders.
Yeah, it's
well, yeah, and obviously they want to be involved in this because the reality is that once you hit quantum computing, right? Because now you no longer have binary code, you have trinary code, and sometimes even was it quadrinary code that you can have
with quantum computing. You can get up to an 8-bit channel.
Yeah, so now all of this sudden you have the ability to calculate things. So for encryption, you can create encryption that current computers could take 100,000 years and still couldn't break.
That's what the article says too. Like currently, it can take anytime from hours to days to years to break an encryption. With a quantum system, it can be like the article says trivial.
So like consider like when you do quantum computing, right? When a quantum computer runs, once we can get it to work, there's a few things like the Heisenberg principle and certainty that interfere with it right now. But if you can get it to work, essentially quantum computer is capable of looking at every possible quantum state that is succeeding where it currently is, and is capable of calculating the probabilities of every single one of those being a possible quantum state. So like quantum states, we call time. Okay. That's a moment is a given set of quantum superstates. So it's capable of calculating out what will happen in the future. Like that's what a quantum computer does. So think about what you can possibly do with that. Think about the encryption you could create with that. There's no
I'm thinking about that movie. I'm thinking about that movie Minority Report.
Yeah, and that's essentially what quantum computers. Yeah,
Skynet comes to mind.
Skynet.
What's really cool, actually, is if you go to Disney and you go to the Avengers campus, there's a whiteboard there that's supposed to be like Peter Parker's whiteboards. One of the things that's written on it suggests that Doctor Strange is a quantum computer. That's why he can look forward in the future at every possible future because he's calculating quantum superstates.
Interesting.
So, but yes, we do not want the NSA to have a backdoor.
No. Do not give
we want
the
to
NSA
keep the
action.
You want to keep the government out of the back door, no matter as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's what the AR-15s are for.
That's right.
Trap the back door.
No means no.
Do you use the AR-15s to plug the back doors?
Worst case scenario, you can always.
That's like I know you're an amosexual, Andrew, but that's a little much.
All I'm saying is you can fuck the government back.
Well, you have to start out with a very small caliber round, and then you just have to go steadily larger. It's gotta.
And you want to make sure that there's a nice like indent there, so it doesn't get lost.
Yeah. Eventually, you can get to like 20 millimeter. I mean, some people will go up to 40 millimeter. I've seen videos.
Yeah.
Late night on 4chan. There are things you cannot unsee.
Just take a pineapple, pineapple grenade, shove it up the bum, pull the pin, and make sure that you get away in 3 seconds. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You guys are terrible influences.
That was all we're talking about
in Minecraft.
We were talking about Minecraft.
Yeah. You guys want to talk about Minecraft? Talk about Marvin Heemeyer?
Uncle Sam is strapped. Beware of backdoor entry.
Yeah, Uncle Sam is strapped. Beware of backdoor entry.
Oh, he's got military grade software.
Military grade hardware.
You know,
it's only military grade hardware.
The difference between a computer and a woman is a computer will accept a 3.5-inch floppy.
That hurts because I'm Irish.
I'm a potato.
Fries and potato.
Just it's curly fries dropping from his eyes.
Nothing but pure starch coming out of my socket.
Tater tots.
Potato with whiskey dick.
I prefer Andrew, thanks.
See that art? I know I posted it for Dyreka about the girl that was giving head to the guy in Florida, and he crashed head on into a UPS truck, and he went to the hospital. He went to the hospital with injuries to his penis.
Injuries.
Look. You know what? This is the problem with the younger generations. Back in my day, if you were getting roadhead, you kept your fucking eyes on the road like a goddamn man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That was actually
it's a disappearing skill. It's a disappearing skill.
The problem is that we've gone to all of these stupid lane holder cars and the self-driving cars, and people don't feel like they need to pay attention when they're getting roadhead.
There was a whole porn filmed in the back of a self-driving Tesla.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have video that I was sent from a trucker looking down into a car next to him. That it's interesting. That chick was into it. That's all I'm saying. Like full on shirt up, grabbing thing. Like Ed.
Well, I mean, it used to be they had a driver and a fucker. Now the driver is the fucker. So the Bang Brothers are definitely up in their game.
It's just it's not safe. Look, back in my day, whoever was in the passenger seat did all the fucking work. The person in the driver's seat didn't even have to come. Don't focus on that. Focus on the road. Kind of the game here is to see if you can focus on the fucking road while I'm doing this. You know what I mean?
Clearly he lost. He crashed.
Yeah, apparently he lost. Yeah.
Yeah, clearly. He's weak. His whole bloodline is weak.
I'm not reading that one out loud, Jason. I'm sorry. I'm not reading that one out loud.
What one? Now I want to know.
I don't know what chicks you've been dating, bro, but no, they totally still do that.
Yes, they do.
You just got to watch out for the fish flying in the road.
Don't hit it.
You could be fined up to $2,000 per fish that you hit.
Yeah.
Like fucking Mario Kart out there.
Yeah, around here we have a kind of mayfly called a fish fly, and so apparently they saw that and were like, I mean, there were fish flies, so
fish piece.
I guess fish.
Marvin Heemeyer was a professional welder living in the quiet Colorado town of Granby, just trying to make a living for himself, running a small muffler repair shop. Unfortunately, he was also in the business of getting royally fucked over by everyone in town, ranging from the paperboy to the asshats at City Hall, who wouldn't compromise with him on some crazy fucking wacky zoning issues he was trying to work out.
Remember what we were saying about the back door?
Yeah.
Not all of his state/marry strippers, Andrew.
Andrew, this is why we don't marry strippers, Andrew.
Andrew, we are going to get you a patch made that says it was one time. It's gonna have a picture of an eagle on it.
But it's like an eagle. It's like an eagle with fishnets.
Yeah, and a stripper pole.
I am 2 hours from Granby, so
yes.
That is a wildly upsetting mental image, guys. Thanks for
that. Only true friends would do shit like that, man.
That's
for an
right.
extra $50, I'll show you my cloaca.
God.
This is why this podcast cannot have anything nice.
This is why we are the most.
You mean like followers and fame and like an income or something?
Yeah.
Right.
Monetization.
Monetization.
Eagle with bumblebee nets.
And they're fish. And they're fish.
God damn it!
There we go.
We got one.
We got a story.
Bumblebee nuts. That's so retarded.
I'm gonna start referring to them as that exclusively now. Like, bumblebee nuts. What?
Oh God!
The honeypot. All right. Eventually, after years of petitions, appeals, and negotiations that proved about as fruitful as smashing his face into a cinder block, the bastards at the Ganby Zoning Commission basically told Merv that he could go fuck himself gently with a chainsaw. They were going to build a concrete plant adjacent to Heemeyer's muffler shop, cut off his business's sewer line, slap him with a bunch of increasingly massive fines, and ultimately run his ass out of town on a fucking rail. But Marvin Heemeyer wasn't the sort of overwhelming, muley pussy coward who was going to sit there and let a bunch of stuffed suit bastards fuck him over like a little bitch. He was an insane, badass motherfucker with an arc welder and a mad desire for vengeance at all costs, and he decided he wasn't going to take any more. Heemeyer paid his $2,500 fine to City Hall, scribbling the word cowards in the memo portion of the check. Then he bought a massive bulldozer, sold his business, and spent the next year and a half turning this gigantic piece of construction equipment into the most insanely fucking awesome vehicle ever constructed by human hands.
Yes.
Yes.
The Killdozer.
This article, by the way, is from badassoftheweek.com. So,
the Killdozer.
Yes. The Killdozer was every bit as badass as the name would imply. First, Heemeyer constructed composite armor for the outside of the Caterpillar, 1 foot of solid concrete sandwiched between half-inch sheets of unforgiving steel. Since the entire outside of the dozer was encased in an unflinching layer of bazooka-proof armor, but also welded 2 cameras to the outside of the machine and linked them up to a series of monitors in the cabin. This jury-rigged system allowed him to remotely see outside and steer this juggernaut effectively. He placed food, water, air conditioning, and life support into the cabin and installed gun ports on the front, sides, and back of the monstrosity, one with a 50 caliber Barrett M82 sniper rifle, one with a .223 caliber assault rifle, and one with a scoped .308 caliber rifle. He also kept a 9mm pistol in the glove box and a .357 revolver in a holster on his belt. The weapons were all welded into place, and thick sheets of ballistic bulletproof plexiglass were in place to facilitate accurate aiming. Basically, this thing was a badass fucking combination of a Panther tank, a garbage tank, the antagonist from Maximum Overdrive, and Optimus Prime in truck mode.
The thing was amazing. That's a good description.
Yes.
Well, no, and one of those things from Mad Max Fury Road too, the one with the little.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And despite also don't forget the steel too, if I remember right. Didn't he face harden?
I think he face hardened one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Despite having enough guns and ammo to choke a dozen hippies, Marvin Heemeyer's mission wasn't one of death.
More than a dozen hippies.
He wanted revenge, sure, and he was going to go about it over the most over-top way imaginable. But he gets bonus badassitude points because he wasn't going to kill any innocent bystanders in the pursuit of his sweet, sweet vengeance.
Hell yeah. That's what it's all about right there.
Yep.
He was, however, going to royally fuck up the town of Granby, Colorado in a matter that the residents wouldn't soon forget. On the morning of 4th June 2004, the Killdozer rode out from its dark lair and began smashing buildings at full speed like a giant mechanical wrecking ball made out of nuclear missiles and HGH.
No. A wrecking ball moves much faster than a Komatsu.
Heemeyer's hit list was basically anybody who had ever
especially one that heavy.
Yeah. Heemeyer's hit list was basically anyone who had ever fucked him over. 13 buildings ranging from town hall to the offices of the newspaper that rallied against him were eviscerated by this giant monstrosal hulk of self-propelled metal death. Heemeyer fired the built-in rifles at propane tanks and power transformers, trying to get them to explode in some badass Hollywood fireballs and leveled entire city blocks. But unfortunately, there weren't any massive raging infernos to be had on this day. According to witnesses,
the dude did this shit with panache. Okay.
According to witnesses, Heemeyer went out of his way to avoid injuring innocent bystanders, but did manage to cause over $7 million in damage to the city during his insane badass rampage.
That's what you fucking get.
Yeah, he crushed squad cars,
deserve.
steamrolled trees, and obliterated entire buildings. At one point, the police put on a gigantic piece of construction equipment out of. At one point, the police put a gigantic piece of construction equipment out to block Heemeier's path, but the Killdozer just fucking made that shit its bitch, tossing it to the side and nearly flipping it on its back like a cheap hooker in the process.
Yeah, and this, keep in mind, this thing is what he's talking about is one of those big articulated trucks with the center dump on it. Those really, really big ones. Like we used to have those in Afghanistan and stuff. We'd use them to build roads and things. Those real big things that are like the size
roads.
of
Yes.
And it just rolls up and just goes, nope, and just shoves it out of the way. Like
you don't even see black smoke roll. It just kept going.
Yeah, like it's not even there.
He didn't increase the power or nothing. Like, it just kept going. The Killdozer was immune to all forms of small arms fire and was highly resistant to explosives. The local police and the Denver SWAT team fired about 200 rounds at the rifle and handgun ammunition at this thing, but all the bullets harmlessly bounced off the Killdozer's impenetrable metal hide. Flashbangs and frag grenades were chucked at this thing to no effect.
Eventually, there's no openings to the outside. He was looking through cameras.
Yes.
There's no eye slits or anything.
Eventually, the machine dropped a tread into the basement of a building that it was demolishing and became hopelessly stuck. The rampage was effectively over. Heemeyer didn't want to give his enemies the satisfaction of capturing him alive, so he capped himself in the dome with a 357. He was the only person killed or wounded during the attacks.
Well, yeah, he went out of his way to just destroy government property.
Well, and
he went out of his way to not hurt anybody.
Not just government property. He went after the people who had wronged him. Yeah, like the hardware building was owned by the mayor. There was another building that was owned by one of the council members. The newspaper published articles against him.
The concrete place that caused everything.
Yes, the concrete place.
He took out I know he took out the house of like a judge or something like that. The judge on the case, but he made sure that it was at a point in time where the judge wasn't going to be home. He was just going to go tear the house down.
And on top of that, considering how fast that thing moved, if you still get hit by it, like. You
deserve it.
It's like Daredevil when he runs someone over with the Zamboni, right? It's like 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, when Deadpool's driving.
That was Deadpool.
That was Deadpool, not Daredevil.
No, Austin Powers. They did that with the steamroller.
Austin Powers, with the steamroller. He keeps screaming, and Austin's just going, move. Why are you not moving? Just move. Get out of the way.
Yeah. It took the cops 12 hours to cut through the armor of the Killdozer and retrieve Haymire's body. And if that wasn't badass enough, there are rumors, these are unsubstantiated, there's no paperwork to prove it. There are rumors that at the time Marv popped himself in the head, National Guard was only minutes away from calling in an airstrike on this thing.
Oh my God.
That's an unsubstantiated rumor. I have heard it before. I have read it before.
I've heard that before too.
There's no paperwork on it.
That would have been so rad, though, if he could have kept going and they called in a fucking airstrike and then demolished all the government buildings just trying to get to
does the work for him.
And out of the dust,
that would have been so fucking cool.
Moving.
On top of them, Killdozer flattens the block.
Some people would question the badassitude of turning a bulldozer into a tank and then using it to completely demolish the entire city. But
those people are stupid because that's totally badass.
But deep down, I think that everyone has to respect the fact that Marvin Heemeyer wasn't going to put up with any more bullshit from anyone. He had been jerked around enough, and he was fucking going to do something about it. Sure, his quest for revenge was a little misguided, but it was also completely fucking awesome.
No, it wasn't.
He made a hell of a fucking statement without injuring anybody but himself.
That's why it wasn't misguided.
Yeah, in the end, the desire to, quote, go that extra mile in the pursuit of vengeance is one of the fundamental tenets of ultimate badassitude. And Marvin Heemeyer walks a fine line between being a fucking nutcase and living the American dream of crushing your enemies beneath the treads of your badass fucking awesome homemade.
I mean, that's the shit America was fucking founded on.
Yeah, well,
literally,
exactly it.
Literally. That article's from badassoftheweek.com.
Nice.
I think we need to do more of those.
Fun site.
I mean, I just gotta say, like, seriously, like, to be badass enough that they were ready to call in a fucking airstrike to try and stop
for one dude and a bulldozer that he welded a bunch of shit to.
With no actual civilian casualties at all. No casualties.
Yep.
No,
and they were
had
still
they
going to try
called
and
in
bomb
the airstrike, I guarantee you there would have been casualties, and it would have been the fault of the National Guard who flew in to attack him. But can you imagine being so badass they have to bring in a flight of A-fucking-10s to get you to stop your reign of terror? Like...
I don't know if that would have done any damage.
It depends on how they hit. I mean, because I've seen A-10s shoot at groups of guys, and like a couple of dudes are just standing there, like, "What the fuck just happened?" and didn't get hit. So, even though it's firing really fast,
20 Mike is no joke. Don't get me wrong on that. However, I mean, like, this was heavily armored vehicle.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what the 20 millimeter round is designed for.
Yeah, that's what it's designed to take out. It would have punched straight fucking through it. So it definitely would have brought it down if they had hit it. But the thing is remember, you're flying a jet at 450, 500 miles an hour as you're doing this run.
Oh, and I need to point out that we're talking A-10s. That's 30 Mike, not 20 Mike.
Yeah. So you got to remember, though, those rounds, even though it's firing, 3,000 RPM, something like that?
Something like that.
At that speed, you're still talking about like 1.5 to 2 feet of spread between every round. And that's assuming that they can keep the nose straight on and it's not doing this, which it tends to. So
yeah, they're more likely to hit civilians than they were.
3,900 rounds per minute.
3,900. Okay, yeah. So like, there's still a chance that they would completely miss him.
That's okay. They'll just do a U-turn inside the Metrodome
and hit
and come
all
back
sorts
and get
of
him.
shit around him.
Yeah, they would destroy all kinds of things, but not him. And it would be a thing of beauty. Can you imagine, like, they wind up having to bring in like an 18? Like, all right, that's it. It's gonna be a fucking smart bomb. I don't know what else.
Every last one of those rounds that would have come out of the A-10 is roughly the size of a Red Bull can.
Any explosive that they used, it would have destroyed. It would not necessarily the tank, but it would have destroyed the buildings.
Well, yeah, explosives are incredibly indiscriminate.
So they're not going to use explosives, so they would have to use
guns.
Bring in a Mod Deuce or something.
Well, even Mod Deuce wouldn't do anything. No, Mod Deuce wouldn't go through it. Yeah, even AP rounds wouldn't have made it through that, especially if it's face hardened steel. It's just going to ricochet off of it. It'll cut divots in the steel. But it's not going to bring in.
That,
they could have.
That gunship after the track around has a howitzer on the side of it.
AC-130. Spectre. The hand of God.
Spooky. They could have brought in a tank.
Well, see, a tank would be what would make sense to me, or at least an anti-tank gun. Spookies, by the way, Chris, were Vietnam. That's they don't use the same word.
No.
They're all Spectres now. They're the AC-130s. But I mean, like, I could see using realistically a French 75, even World War I French 75 probably would have punched through that.
Yeah, but how many of those in the Colorado National Guard?
Well, none. But I mean, sure, there's somebody within probably 100 miles.
It wouldn't even have to punch through the armor. It just has to fucking knock one of the treads off, and the guys just say
realistically, you just take the track off. Yeah, well, I mean, but like, I love that meme.
Well, and even the engine, because he didn't armor the engine, did he put enough
he did. The engine was completely coated.
That was one of the reasons it overheated.
Mm-hmm.
It's because the engine was armored. So.
Yeah, I love that meme though, with the girls with a time machine. I'm your granddaughter. OMG, really? And then boys with a time machine. Hey, the grocery store has a basement, so watch out.
The hardware store. Yeah.
The hardware store.
Yeah, it has a basement, so watch out.
All right, let's jump onto this last article, and it is a potential killdozer in the making.
Okay.
Alabama family is fighting a losing battle against eminent domain. The Moore family has lived on 120 acres in rural Dixon Mills, Alabama for over 100 years. Generations of the family descendants of Black, Native American, and Irish sharecroppers worked the land in Alabama's economically depressed Black Belt region and eventually built a considerable homestead. Now, much of the land will likely be cleared to make room for the West Alabama corridor. In 2001, the state of Alabama announced its construction project, which includes widening the U.S. Route 43 into 4-lane divided highway. The expansion, which state officials claiming a necessary seizure of 190 to 225 feet of land.
It's a bypass. You got to have bypasses.
Entails the seizure of much of the Moore's family's property. It would also require demolishing 4 of the homes, which house 11 family members. In response, the Moore family has launched a campaign, Seize No More Homes, MOORE, attempting to raise awareness of the challenge to the U.S. 43 construction project poses on their way of life. In a statement, the family stressed that they are not opposed to expanding U.S. 43, but they believe that the state is planning on taking an unnecessarily amount of land rather than pursuing less destructive alternatives.
Well, yeah. Have you seen what even the right of way that they claim on people's land is on either side of a fucking highway?
No,
and how far
they actually go into that. The family argues that only 94 feet of land is required, not 190 to 225 feet proposed by the state. So the state is literally taking twice as much land as necessary.
Almost 3 times.
Well, yeah, because they want to do like a corridor of shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they want their right of way. Like if you ever drive down rural highways and you see these like yellow like obelisk things in people's yards with numbers on them, those are right of way markers.
Yep.
So where that's sitting, the highway department technically claims that it owns all of that land up to that marker.
Yep.
Except you still pay property tax.
Well, they don't own it. You still pay property tax on it. They just have an easement, so they're allowed to be on it whenever the fuck they want, regardless of what.
It's the same with
they can do whatever they want with it, and you can't do shit with it, even though you still pay the property tax.
And even if they widen the road out, then they just move the marker back.
Yeah,
to maintain the same
believe
distance.
me, I'm fucking familiar with it because I've got a fucking easement. I've never not had an easement on my property. We've always lived rural.
Yeah. You got
there's
the John Wilkes Booth easement too.
Yeah, well, that's not an easement. It's just a historical marker, but which we didn't have a choice about.
Same thing. Yeah.
But yeah.
Same thing. You didn't have a choice.
Yeah. It's not in the easement though. They tried to claim that it was in the easement, but it's not.
But it's okay. You totally own your own property.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You own
quote,
it. Yeah.
Quote, this proposed project will dismantle our privately owned businesses. Our community will be without an auto mechanic shop, loggers, caterers, carpenters, fresh food vendors, farmers, and livestock would be affected. The community will never recover from this devastation. If an alternative route cannot be mapped out and the state of Alabama feels that it is necessary for this project to come through our community, at least give us the dignity as taxpayers, homeowners, and landowners to only take the minimally necessary amount of land. That's a statement from the family.
Right.
They don't care about your dignity. They don't care about
that. Seems like a really reasonable fucking statement.
Yes.
That's a really reasonable statement.
Since when does the government care about reasonable?
No, I know they don't. I'm just saying, like, these people are being really fucking reasonable.
I think they're being far more than reasonable. I think they're being incredibly magnanimous here.
I agree.
Far more so than they need to be. And
I agree.
The government's still going to go, nope, fuck you, we're taking it.
Now, could something like this, Jason said the potential Killdozer version 2, I could see this becoming like Bundy Ranch version 2.
Yeah. For now, it appears that the seizure of the Moore family's land is constitutional. However, while the state may legally take their land, the Moore family is not convinced that the seizure is strictly necessary for the construction of an expanded US 43. The family argues that only 94 feet of land is required, not the 190 to 225 feet proposed by the state. Quote, the chief engineer of the project told us the change we suggested was not considered solely because it would be too expensive for the state pockets, not because of environmental impact. to continue.
The state doesn't give a shit about the environment when it comes to what
nothing. Yeah, quote, nothing in the response explains why they aren't willing to make that compromise.
Well, it's like where Andrew lives. For freaking decades, they've been fighting about this north-south corridor that they've been wanting to run right through the middle of a fucking swamp. They don't give two shits.
Yep. No, they don't care. Well, I mean, keep in mind the city here has been filling in the marsh for years. I mean, for a century, they've been filling in the marsh.
And then they wonder why the fuck the floods are so bad.
Yeah, and then they go, why are the floods so bad? And why do we have such problems with water quality? And why are all these terrible things? Well, it couldn't possibly be because all of the natural marsh is now currently under concrete. So
yeah. They did that to a housing community in Southern California. They built like 750 houses in the floodplains of Lake Elsinore.
Yep.
It's like, granted, we're in a drought, but when that thing, I mean, the land's like super unstable because that was all marsh for years and years and years and years. And they're like, oh, let's just put some houses here.
Yeah, let's put houses on top of the mud. That'll work out well. I haven't read
They put houses on top of an old dump here in my area, and then had a big article about wondering why the methane levels were so high in that area.
Oh my god. So what we're getting at here is these people are fucking stupid. They're not smart. Quit worshiping them like they're goddamn gods. They are idiots.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
they did not obviously go through Dyreka's book.
They have justification. They have justification. State officials say the project will spur economic development in one of Alabama's poorest regions.
So the people who live there are going, you're going to kill our community. And they're like, no, we're not. We're going to save it. Like, I'm from the government. I'm attempting to save you. Please do not resist.
Yeah. Quote, the goal of
being rescued.
Yeah. Quote, the goal of the West Alabama Corridor Project is increasing economic opportunity for rural West Alabama residents.
You mean you're going to increase their opportunity by fucking wrecking it first?
Never in the history of the interstate highway system has an interstate benefited any existing community ever.
Not ever.
No.
Ever. Not one that it ran through. No. Like the ones at the very ends of it, maybe, but not the ones that they fucking run through.
Well, look at how many communities, right? If you go back and you watch movies from the 50s, 60s, like you see movie after movie where they talk about, well, before they built the interstate, everyone used to come along this highway and the community was great and it was thriving. And then the interstate.
I was going to say, you can go even more recent than that. It's animated, but the movie Cars.
Yeah, it talks about it. It harkens back to those. Yeah, where you build the interstate and now everybody just bypasses all these communities and they die. That is referenced in fucking the original Psycho. In the original Psycho movie, they talk about that, the interstate killing off all of the businesses and stuff. Don't sit there and pretend that you're making new economic opportunities. You're not. All you're doing is redistributing existing economic opportunity as you see fit.
It's broken window fallacy, right? The money that will be spent on that or on the new economic opportunities in that area would have been spent somewhere else on something else. Right, instead of John Q buying a new tractor for it to work on his land with, he's going to be buying Jack in the Box.
I guarantee it's bullshit. Anyways, that's just a fucking excuse they're using. Some congressman wants a fucking easier commute.
Yes,
that's what this is. He's fucking tired of not having an easy
and he got his palms greased by somebody and.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, my favorite story about this is still that story that Rabbit told about a guy that he sold a truck to, brand new truck, where the guy was trading in a brand new he was buying a hot rod. So he's buying this hot rod, freshly finished, full restoration. He's like, why would you sell this thing? You just got it done. He said, well, it reminds me of my dad, and I can't look at it anymore. And he finds out why this guy's dad was so legendary. So he's like, my dad had exactly one job his whole life. He worked for the local water company. That's all he did his whole life. He was a ditch digger for them. And both him and his brother had gone to an Ivy League school and shit. And he's like, how the hell does a guy who does nothing but work for the water company afford that? And it turns out that his dad had been working there for years and years and years, and everyone just kind of assumed he didn't know shit about shit, right? And he happens to see the top secret plans of where they're going to run a new highway.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees where it's going. And he sees a square. And he's not sure what the square is, but he assumes it's going to be important. So he drives out to the middle of nowhere and meets with this old couple, and goes, hey, would you ever consider selling your land? And they're like, well, no, not really, blah, blah, blah. Well, a couple of years later, the road still hasn't been built yet. It's about to start construction. And he gets a phone call from the lady. The husband died. She wants to sells him the land. So he now owns all this land preemptively. And it turns out that the highway runs right next to it.
Yeah.
And so he makes a fortune selling the land to industrial concerns because now it's right on the highway.
Yeah, land speculation.
That's where he makes millions.
That was literally one of the reasons that Frank and Jesse James became Frank and Jesse James. Right?
Yeah.
The railroad going through there, buying up farms on both sides as far as they could. And then they would sell that land that was necessary for the railroad to the government, so that the government could build it, so that the private company could build the railroad for the government. And then and they're ripping off farmers is what it was.
Right, and that's what this is like that guy. I mean, he did it just because he was pretty clever, but it's because he had access to government information. The people who have access to that government information, I guarantee you, the reason this highway is where it is and is as wide as it is and everything else is because there are people who have access to the information where that's going, who have purchased a bunch of fucking land along there, who are like, no, I couldn't buy it this far over, so you need to make it extra wide so it butts up against this property so that my property is worth that much more money.
Yep, buy cheap, sell high.
Yep. Well, it goes back to what we've talked about before too with Congress and insider trading and all of that shit. It's the same horse shit. Mm-hmm. It's just real estate as opposed to stocks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, and the other article I have is out of Michigan, and it's state legislature of Michigan describes 2 recently enacted civil forfeiture bills as reform that closed a dangerous loophole. In reality, the law opens a dangerous loophole by authorizing forfeiture of cash carried by travelers in Michigan airports without a criminal conviction.
More civil asset forfeiture horseshit.
Yeah, so they criminalize
taking it into fucking airports now. People that are just like stopping over between two flights.
Yep, criminalize traveling with cash.
Yep, because they don't want you to carry cash because cash is difficult for them to track and control.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have anything else. So.
Either.
That's your cue, Andrew.
Okay. By Dyreka's book.
Yeah.
You already promoted it.
By my book.
Make sure that you, if you want to care for your beard like a Viking, you check out thebeardstruggle.com. Use code Anarchist15 at checkout. You get 15% off of your entire order. They have their new scents. They have their cool beard straightener, all sorts of cool stuff. And they even have stuff for ladies now. So check it out. It's thebeardstruggle.com. Use code Anarchist15.
They market to bearded ladies?
Not bearded ladies, just ladies.
I'm perplexed.
Just ladies. They got
2022. It's 2022. Get with it.
They got skin lotions, they got perfumes, they got all sorts of cool stuff. Their scents are freaking amazing. Their new platinum scents are amazing. And again, you get 15% off and you get to support me, which is super cool. Also, make sure you check out Boo Boogie 79 on Twitter. He's got those cool flyers, including the ones behind Chris that you're seeing now. If you're watching, if you're listening, you can't see them, but trust me, they're cool. Make sure that you also, we are an affiliate of my brain has completely fallen apart now, so somebody else should probably pick this up.
Arcade Spookwear.
Yes, there we go. So if you 3D print your own shooty boys and you need the metal stuff for it, you need the accessories for it, check him out. Use the link in the description, and then that way you can get all the stuff that you need to finish off that cool stuff and build your own guns. They're completely untraceable, and the government can't stop you because you can't stop the signal.
In Minecraft.
Also, check out Dave at Poppins Patches. I am currently working with him on an upcoming patch based off of the flag. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw the flag that I just designed, and I'm going to be printing. And if people want it, I'm going to be putting that up for order soon. He is designing a patch for that, so you'll be able to do that. It's the boots. It's the boot picture.
I think she's thinking of a recent picture that I put on Facebook.
She posted a picture in the hammock, and
yeah,
I'm not on Facebook, so like I got.
I need to go back and find that one.
Well, that and the picture from the party the other weekend with
I did see.
Picture of my wedge sandals, really, but.
Yeah, well, yeah. I've been permabanned from Facebook, so anything happens on there, I have no idea. I don't miss it. But yeah, so make sure that you check out Poppin's Patches. Keep watching for the new patch that's going to come out based on the flag. My idea is that I'm going to have the flag come out, we're going to have the patch, and I'm going to find somebody who can do t-shirts for me, and we're going to have t-shirts too, also available, all with the same design. Check us out on all of the alternative media stuff out there, so Rumble and everything else. Have I forgotten anything? Chris, I think you got one.
I just have, if you really like your coffee like me and you just can't get through the day without having at least a pot of coffee, go ahead and check out the link in the description for my link, which is with Coffee Brand Coffee. You can support me. You can help support Jeremy from the Quartering. He's actually really solid dude. And
we have it. We have a new Twitter.
Yes,
we do.
Twitter.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not that new. It's been around for a couple of weeks now.
I'm never on Twitter and never
new until it's like 6 months.
Yeah, it's Anarchy Among Fra.
Yeah, because we ran out of characters.
Anarchy Among Fra.
Anarchy Among Fra.
Nice and professionally named as
they limited the number of characters you can use. So it's Anarchy Among Fra.
I mean, it fits our MO of most professional show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes. How can you argue with that professionalism? We just
totally.
Yes. I for one have to say that I am glad Dyreka is back.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm back too.
We were excited to see that you were joining us today.
We missed you. We love you.
We missed the snorts.
Love you guys too.
And,
you only got one out of me this episode. You guys are going to have to up your game for the next.
Oh, I will.
Jeremy,
Now that I know you're back.
Scalar claimed that as his snort because he's the one who started it.
Yes. Karen asked, "What's with the dancing strand of hair on my head?" It's because I have the fan on and it's hot here. So.
95 in California.
By the way, Derek, I'm supposed to tell you from Lindsay that she loves you.
Oh, tell Lindsay I love her too.
I'll let her know. She doesn't ever watch the show because she says that when she watches the show, then she wants to be more involved.
Karen says without her, it's a sausage fest, as if that was ever a bad thing.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a sausage. Well, not everybody loves a sausage fest, but you know.
How come I'm always the only chick though? Like in my house, I'm the only female. On this show, I'm the only female. Like,
well, if you've been able to make it on when we had,
this is the only time I get a
Swift on.
I was gonna say this is about the only time I get testosterone interaction because I live in a house. All of my pets are even female.
Yeah, our friend.
All of my dogs are males.
Yeah, our friend. Your entire household is male except for you.
I know. Yeah, believe me,
I'm in the same boat except for every other weekend when my son's here.
So,
yeah.
Our friend Crystal Natalie. She did a couple of other podcasts for Pirate Chain, so I'm gonna get her back on here with us.
Okay, cool.
She needs to be on, and then yeah, give us a piece of life advice, Dyreka.
What's that?
Give us a piece of life advice.
Don't sweat the petty stuff and don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Ah, see, I'm not the only one.
That sounds like terrible advice, but we'll catch you on the next one.
It is.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.